This evening, first up, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali expresses deep concern over Venezuela's unlawful claim to Ghana's Essequibo region. We'll discuss the implications and Guyana's response. Next, a legal battle unfolds as opposition member of Parliament Cathy Hughes sues Vice President Barry Jagdeo over alleged slander. Get the details on the lawsuit and its implications. An update on True Manu Tulsi murder investigation. The suspect's release and ongoing DNA test. We'll explore the latest developments in this case. Moving on, Brazil's firm opposition to Venezuela's use of force in Essequibo territory dispute. Learn how Brazil is urging Venezuela to refrain from threats and regional implications. And finally, a tragic update on the Indonesian volcanic eruption. The discovery of more hikers' bodies brings the total to 22. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for December 6, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, last evening, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali addressed the nation, expressing deep concern over Venezuela's unlawful claim to Ghana's Essequibo region, which constitutes more than two-thirds of the country's national territory.
As I made clear from the date the referendum was first announced, this is a direct threat to Guyana's territorial integrity, sovereignty, and political independence, and in violation of fundamental principles of international law enshrined in the UN and OAS charters. The measures announced are in blatant disregard of the order given by the International Court of Justice on December 1st, 2023. Guyana views this as an imminent threat to its territorial integrity and will intensify precautionary measures to safeguard its territory. I have tonight spoken to the Secretary General of the United Nations and several leaders, alerting them of these dangerous developments and the desperate actions of President Maduro that fly in the face of international law and constitute a grave threat to international peace and security.
The president's address came following Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's announcing measures enforcing the outcome of a disputed referendum, which are seen as a direct threat to Ghana's territorial integrity, sovereignty, and political independence, violating international law principles. Despite an International Court of Justice order, Ghana's view this as an imminent threat and plans to intensify precautionary measures.
We've engaged CARICOM, the OAS, the Commonwealth, and many of our bilateral partners, including the United States of America, Brazil, the United Kingdom, and France. The Ghana Defense Force is on full alert and has engaged its military counterparts, including the U.S. Southern Command. By defying the court, Venezuela has rejected international law, the rule of law generally, fundamental justice and morality, and the preservation of international peace and security. They have literally declared themselves an outlaw nation. Nothing they do, however, will stop Guyana from proceeding with a case in the ICJ, or stop the ICJ from ultimately issuing its final judgment on the merits of the case. We will not allow our territory to be violated, nor the development of our country to be stymied by this desperate threat.
The president has engaged global leaders, alerted the United Nations, and will bring the matter to the United Nations Security Council for appropriate action.
Let me be very clear that President Maduro's action is in open defiance of the ICJ order. In my opinion, he is testing the mettle of the ICJ. He has taken a lonely and worrisome road of neglecting his responsibility as a member of the UN family. An adventurous and reckless path that can only bring instability to this region and can only create more uncertain circumstances for the Venezuelan people. We urge President Maduro to rethink these missteps and to act and behave in accordance with international law. All our actions and everything we do from Guyana is aimed at ensuring this region remains a region of peace. We want nothing. Our only ambition is for this region to remain a region of peace, a zone of peace, and for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Guyana to be respected.
The Ghana Defense Force is also on full alert, engaging military counterparts, and Ghana remains committed to pursuing the case in the International Court of Justice. In similar news, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali asserts that Venezuela's behavior has not affected investor commitment or hindered Ghana's progress. Despite Venezuela's attempt to instill fear, President Ali affirmed the unchanged attitude of investors, including ExxonMobil. He assured the public that Ghana upholds the rule of law to maintain regional peace. The international community, represented by OAS, Commonwealth, CARICOM, and various countries, strongly opposes Venezuela's action. President Ali collaborates with partners, including the United States, to fortify Ghana's position. While emphasizing the importance of peace, the president notes the responsibility of Western Hemisphere countries to ensure stability. The Ghana-Venezuela controversy is with the ICJ, and President Ali urged respect for its judgment. Dialogue on the dispute is ruled out, but he expresses openness to discussing other important matters. On a different note, Opposition Member of Parliament Cathy Hughes is suing Vice President Barry Jagdeo for over $50 million Ghana dollars, alleging slander for referring to her in a derogatory manner during a November 23, 2023 news conference. In the court documents, Hughes claims that the terms implies criminality, disreputability, and immorality, and could be tied to her race or gender. She asserts that the statement has damaged her reputation, causing embarrassment, psychological trauma, emotional distress, and public humiliation. Hughes, represented by the law firm Hughes, Fields & Stobie, seeks damages, citing 9 false descriptions implied by Jagdeo's words. The court papers highlight Jagdeo's prominent political roles, emphasizing the impact of his statement. Hughes claims damages exceeding $50 million for slander, $100,000 for exemplary damages, and damages exceeding $100,000 for psychological abuse. Stick around after the break. Concerns arise as GDF helicopter goes missing during shuttle in Essequibo County, and suspect in Churumani Tuesday's murder investigation released again.
Giving you the best Christmas with Digicel.
Digicel is bringing you the best deals, the best prices, and the best cash prizes. Hold on to your Santa hats, because there's up to $50 million in cash to be won. Activate any data plan, and you can be one of 14 winners to join Digicel's Spin to Win game show, where you can win millions in cash. Activate a data plan today on the best network and make this Christmas the best one yet.
Digicel.
It's Christmas at Kissoon's Furniture Store. We are fully stocked for the holidays with a wide variety of furniture to choose from store-wide. Beautiful sofas, dinette sets, rugs, pillows, foam and hybrid cooling mattresses in all sizes, beds in king, queen and single sizes, and so much more. Come on down to our mega store or our Rob Street location. Merry Christmas from Kissoon's Furniture Store.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. It's Credit, and today we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing, with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she papa buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Welcome back. The suspect in the murder investigation of Mahaika accountant Churmani Tulsi, known as Anita, has been released by the police for the second time due to insufficient evidence at the moment. The suspect and 2 workers were initially arrested during the investigation but later released. He was rearrested last Monday after new information surfaced but has now been released again after 72 hours in custody. The police are awaiting the results of DNA tests as the investigation continues. Tulsi's body was discovered in her home on November 22nd, showing signs of stab wounds and blunt trauma to the head. Despite no forced entry and only a missing bunch of keys, her killer is believed to have been known to her. Tulsi's family eagerly awaits justice and hopes the DNA test results will solve the case. The suspect's alleged boasting about being protected after release has added to the family's distress, and they appeal for swift police action to prevent further harm to others. Moving on, the Ministry of Health, through the National AIDS Program Secretariat, has introduced a new and highly recommended HIV medication to enhance efforts in minimizing the spread of HIV. The drug, endorsed by the World Health Organization, is part of a comprehensive program that includes pre-exposed prophylaxis and subtesting. According to Dr. Tariq Jagnarine, the National AIDS Program Manager, the new treatment has proven highly effective. Benefits include fewer side effects and reduced drug resistance. Approximately 9,700 persons in Guyana live with HIV, with 6,800 enrolled in clinics. An innovative loss to follow-up program aims to reach the remaining 2,900 individuals, providing not only treatment, but also comprehensive support services. Dr. Jagnarine emphasizes ongoing efforts to improve the adaptability and effectiveness of the HIV treatment program in collaboration with the government and NAPS. In other news, a Ghana Defense Force helicopter, 8RAYA, with 8 military servicemen, including veteran pilot Mike Charles, went missing earlier today during a shuttle from Ikuruku to Olive Creek in Essequibo County. Sources on the ground reported that the loss of contact occurred in an area near Aru, Karuni River, Region 7. Initial reports suggest that adverse weather conditions prevail in the interior, arising concerns about the safety of the flight. Authorities do not currently suspect foul play in the disappearance of the recently acquired Bell 412 helicopter. A distress call was sent out from the vicinity of Aru, prompting the deployment of a rescue team to the area. Senior government and military sources confirmed that contact has been lost with the crew, and the GDF has initiated a response by dispatching Special Forces team and search and rescue teams to the region. While the circumstances surrounding the incidents are still being investigated, there is no indication at this time that it is related to any external threats. The focus is on gathering more information and ensuring the safety of those on board. This remains a developing story, and updates will be provided as more details become available. Don't go away after the break. Congress hears of growing fears on U.S. campuses, and death toll rises as Tanzania reels from flooding and landslides.
Giving you the best Christmas with Digital. This Christmas, it's all about the best. Digicel is bringing you the best deals, the best prices, and the best cash prizes. Get half off and a whopping 50 gigs of data when you purchase the Samsung A04 for just $14,000, the Samsung A14 for just $29,000, or the Samsung A24 for just $35,000. That's right, half off and 50 gigs of data. It doesn't get any better than this. So why wait? This Christmas, buy nothing but the best. Offer good while stocks last. Digicel!
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
It's Christmas at Kissoon's Furniture Store. We are fully stocked for the holidays with a wide variety of furniture to choose from store-wide. Beautiful sofas, dinette sets, rugs, pillows, foam and hybrid cooling mattresses in all sizes, beds in king, queen and single sizes, and so much more. Come on down to our mega store or our Rob Street location. Merry Christmas from Kissoon's Furniture Store.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In a significant development, Brazil has firmly opposed Venezuela's use of force in the Essequibo territory dispute with Guyana. Brazilian President Lula da Silva, Chief Foreign Policy Advisor Celso Amorim, stated that Brazil would urge Venezuela to refrain from threats against its neighbor. This stance comes after Venezuelans voted to annex Essequibo, disregarding an International Court of Justice ruling. Meanwhile, Brazil has blustered its northern border defenses amid escalating tensions, deploying additional troops and armored vehicles. The Essequibo region, a subject of a long-standing dispute, has gained renewed attention following the discovery of substantial oil and gas reserves. Presidents of elite universities have faced questions from an American congressional panel investigating anti-Jewish discrimination on campuses. The House Committee on Education says anti-Semitism has been rapidly growing since the start of the Israeli war on Gaza, but little was said about Islamophobia, which is also on the rise in the U.S. Al Jazeera's Heidi Zu Castro reports.
Tuesday's hearing, called by U.S. House Republicans, opened with a video showing what Republicans claim are recent displays of anti-Semitism on American college campuses. Demonstrators protesting Israel's war in Gaza and chanting Intifada, a call for Palestinian resistance. For right-wing politicians in the U.S., this is considered to be hate speech.
You understand that this call for Intifada is to commit genocide against the Jewish people in Israel and globally, correct?
I will say again, that type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent.
The presidents of Harvard, the University of Pennsylvania, and MIT were summoned to, as the panel's chairwoman put it, answer and atone for their Jewish students' growing fear.
During these difficult days, I have felt the bonds of our community strain. In response, I have sought to confront hate while preserving free expression.
The Anti-Defamation League says nearly 3/4 of Jewish college students have experienced recent anti-Semitism on American campuses, including online threats.
Today, in 2023, at NYU, I hear calls to gas the Jews, and I am told that Hitler was right.
But Muslim Americans have suffered severe hate crimes since the war began. A 6-year-old boy was murdered in Illinois, and 3 college students were shot in Vermont. Yet Islamophobia was barely mentioned in Washington's hearing room, where the sole subject was discrimination against Jews.
The Biden administration acknowledges a rise in both anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and says it's working with police and community groups to counter those threats. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Internationally, more than 60 people have been killed in Tanzania in flooding and landslides. It's adding to hundreds of deaths across East Africa following weeks of torrential rains. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb reports.
This is what's happened to the hillside town of Kitesh. Days of torrential rains washed away cars and brought down buildings. Dozens of people have died.
We've been highly affected by the floods and mud flow. It was around 6 a.m. when it started raining. Later on, it started flooding. Until now, it has affected most of our business. We no longer have shops, and many houses have been destroyed, but also many families have lost their beloved ones.
A sea of mud in the town in northern Tanzania hasn't helped the rescue efforts. More than 100 people have been injured and many others have lost their homes. They join more than 1 million people who've been left homeless across East Africa in recent weeks. The community here gathered to bury the dead. Meteorologists predicted the heavy rains, which they say are connected to the El Niño climate cycle in the Pacific Ocean and made worse by climate change.
I call upon my fellow Tanzanians to continue being patient, especially now during this most difficult time. A disaster which cost more than 63 lives of our fellow Tanzanians. Let us continue praying to God for us to remain calm during our time of grief.
As more than 170 governments meet in Dubai for the UN's climate change conference, the number of coffins in East Africa is growing. Campaigners say the summit's dominated by representatives of the fossil fuel industry, whose emissions need to be cut for people here to be safe. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera.
And finally, Indonesian rescuers have found the bodies of 9 more hikers killed in Sunday's volcanic eruption in West Sumatra, bringing the total to 22. Al Jazeera's Jessica Washington reports.
Stranded and afraid, a teenager pleads for her mother. "Mum, please," she says, "look at me now." She was one of the survivors found by rescuers on Mount Merapi after the volcano erupted on Sunday. Many of them are university students who were hiking up the 2,900-metre mountain. Authorities say their search efforts have been hampered by ongoing volcanic activity and heavy rain.
Our main obstacle is there have been several eruptions and volcanic ash fell all the way to the foot of the mountain.
This man is waiting for news of his son.
My son was hiking in a group of 18 people, but they separated into 2 groups. Until now, they still haven't found them.
Survivors have been taken to hospital. Many have severe burns and broken limbs. Zainuddin's daughter has burns on her face, arms, legs and hands. She was also wounded by falling rocks.
5 of the hikers were near the crater when it erupted. They were scattered around. My daughter rolled down the slopes. Finally, the search team carried her down.
Local authorities say ash and rocks fell on several districts near the volcano, and they are urging those living close to the mountain to stay indoors to protect themselves from respiratory infections. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, Jakarta.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.